know that I'm always doing something live. So let's see if it's going to work in the long run. And in front of this, when I started working with this presentation, I thought, okay, everyone said that they're going to say something about themselves. I just realized it's my 10-year anniversary as a presenter on this BUM. And at the same time also 10-year anniversary as a trainer. As you could see, I'm having a trainer license number 3. That's about what I'm going to say about myself. Now let's go for something else, and it's called IPv6. Hands up, how many is having IPv6 up and running? Okay, I could almost go again. As everyone says now, we need to move into IPv6 for a lot of reasons. We are out of IPs on IPv4. Not really, but very close. There are some extra security features inside the protocol itself. That could be nice when you go there. But unfortunately, not all upstream providers are actually giving us the opportunity of running IPv6 today. Mine were not up until we changed them. We kicked them out because they couldn't give us. So now we're running with 2 other ones that actually has it. So the objects of this is going to be that get your RIR assigned IPv6 running, even if your upstream provider don't provide you with IPv6 capability. This is going to be done by BGP. It's also going to show you, I'm going to take small steps and show you what you don't need to do if your upstream provider actually gives you the opportunity directly. Because it's actually just 2 small things you just leave out and then back to the same configuration anyhow. We're going to run OSPF version 3 internally. And once I sit here in the front, at least see that I'm having 3 routers here. My laptop is actually connected to the last one. So if it's not going to work, I'm going to burn myself in the foot. So we have a couple of things when it comes to the security thing. Everything you do that's regarding your IP series, when you go in, log into RIPE or whatever upstream you have, depending on region you're sitting in, you need to see that those logins are 100% secured. Otherwise people could hack you and start using your IP series on the wrong location. Because BGP allows you to do that. So I'm using Google Authenticator as a second layer on top of my username and password. So I put in my username and password, and then afterwards it's asking me for 6 digits. And they are regenerated every second minute, I think it is. So pretty damn sure. Inside the RIPE you have something called resource certification. And you have that on the other RERs too, where you could actually say, these ones are mine. And some BGP operators filter out on these ones. So if you put everything in correctly, it's going to work when it comes from your AS number, but if someone else is trying to steal it, up yours, it's not going to work. And on top of that, you have something called RUAS. And the same thing there, they could be used for automatic filtering within the BGP later on. So if it comes on the wrong location, you just filter out everything that comes wrong. Same time you get rid of a lot of spam and other crap. So, if you want to do this with Hurricane Electric, you have a couple of things you need to do up before you even sending them an email and trying to say, I want to do a BGP pairing with you guys. By the way, it's for free. As long as you don't need more than 10 megabits of IPv6. And for the moment, usually you don't need that unless you give IPv6 out to your end customers. You need to put in admin C, tech C, so it's reflecting your email address. Because then they know that you are actually allowed to request this BGP session. And this is done inside RIPE. Now you start understanding why it's so important to actually protect that site. You just put in an email address there and you could steal someone's IP series. Whoops. So you send them an email and tell them, hey guys, I want to go up with you guys. They want you to send them what IP series you're going to send. You do that in the same email. They check into the database, it's correct. Okay, we push forward. Next step, you go to Hurricane Electric homepage. Go in and say that you want to do a BGP tunnel. So here we start by filling out the IPv4 address you have on your side. You have here your AS number and which prefixes. And they're going to go with those prefixes and double check if they are in their list of allowed before they enable this one. Takes about 1 day, then it's done. So, if you don't have it, you go this way. So, now we're going to start having fun here. Or at least you are. I'm going to do a small setup. It's not going to be run directly to Hurricane Electric, but what it's going to be doing is that I have put up an SSTP tunnel from here. So I'm having an address I'm in control of. Up to my core network in my own ISP. On that we're going to do a 6-to-4 tunnel all the way up, and on top of that BGP session. So this is how it's going to look. And this free that you have in the end here is the one on the table here. It's not powerful machines at all, so I'm not going to have some throughput on this. It's actually CRS 125 as my BGP router. Has enough with memory, that's the only thing that matters in this case. And it's 962s. Proof of concept, that's what we're doing here. All of them are running full dual stack. So I actually have already configured IPv4 full OSPF on them. So I could go to any one of them and do my job on them. We're also going to put up OSPF version 3, and that's going to be done from scratch. There's nothing in them. The same thing, the BGP session, I've done the peering part, but the rest we need to do now. So, as I said, I'm sticking out my neck a little bit. Tried it a couple of times, so hopefully it's going to work. It worked this morning. So, let's start. We're going to have some IPv6 addresses here. And as you see, I'm having a lot of them. The top one here is actually going to be the 6-to-4 tunnel where I'm going to do my BGP pairing on. So that's my local address. The BGP pairing is going to be on the other side. These three here is sitting first. The top one is going to be sitting on my CRS, and then second one on my second router, and the last one is the third router where I'm actually connected with my laptop. These addresses are not in the router yet, but they're going to come there. I'm going to move over to the other microphone. I hope everyone is going to hear anyhow. Because now I'm going to need my hands. Just to be 100% sure that we're not going into anything else, I'm going to disconnect my Wi-Fi. Equals, now I'm actually stuck to my own things. This is my BGP one. Okay, what happened? Let's see. Good, someone was awake here. If it happens again, stop me, please, okay? Do you see, or I need to do it smaller? Okay. So let's start here then. We're going to start by, as you see, I don't have any 6 to 4 tunnel, so let's go and do one. 6 to 4 channel. And it's 10. Now I have some cheat sheet here because I don't remember all IPs for some reason. And after a while you're going to understand why you don't remember them. So there, it's up and running. We need to put the IPv6 address on it. Because as you see now, it's only local link ones you have. Nothing else. So, let's have my cheat sheet. I'm not going to need to do an advertise on these ones as it's directly connected towards another equipment on the other side. And it's nothing that's done automatically in this case. Both sides are static addresses. Okay, that one is up. So let's go for the BGP because that takes some time to work, so we could have that one working while we're doing the rest of the OSPF. We first of all need to do an instance. And in this case, I've already put an IP for my router ID. And that's mainly because the router ID must be 100% secure that it's unique through the whole AS numbers. So that's why I'm locking it down, because otherwise it's going to take an IP address on the unit. And I know for a fact that I have overlapping IPs in my network because of VRFs and so on. So if we're unlucky, everything breaks because wrong router ID. So I just put in a number here, and that's basically a random number that I'm picking. We also have ticked in redistribute OSPF, because internal here, we're going to use OSPF. And if I want that one to be fed up to my upstream provider, I need to tick in redistribute OSPF. I'm not having anything with redistribute connected routes or something like that because I want to be in 100% control of what I'm sending out. We're also going to need to do something aggregate. How many here, if you put up your hand, knows what aggregate is? Okay, so we need to explain that one. Aggregate is that in BGP you don't want to have, for instance, in my home network, I'm having about 300 different subroutes. I don't want to send all those small ones out to my upstream provider. I want to send them as a /22 or whatever I'm having. That's to do an aggregate. In this case, we're going to do an aggregate to a /52 because we're now on IP version 6. And 52 is still a rather big one. So we're going to put in a small one here. Instance is going to be the one for AS 44746. That's the AS number I'm running here. The prefix is going to be 2A05 Bravo 881 0100 and 52. Did I miss something here? A, B, that one should be unticked. Somewhere I managed to get a space in that should not be there. Zero 5 Bravo 881 0 Why is it not working this time? Because I was typing wrong. So, and I'm also including IGP, and that's because some of these routes is going to show up as IGP. Later on, we're going to go back to this one and see how many routes is actually going to be aggregated. It's actually going to feed them down to a smaller amount. So this is the only thing that's going to be visible through the BGP. Now, also another thing that's a little bit tricky with the BGP session, and I'm going to show that one rather now directly, and that's mainly because depending on who your upstream provider is, I by design in this case set it to do wrong because I want to show you this small tip. The way it's set up now, it's actually going to give me the local link IP as next jump through the BGP from my upstream provider. A lot of BGP operators are operating in that way, but I want to have the pure real address to be used there instead. So we're going to put in a route filter, which actually I already have it here, and I'm going to show you what it's doing. There's nothing on the first part here, because it's going to go for everything coming from this BGP session is going to be filtered. So I have nothing here, but I have under action. If you go down almost all the way down, normally it looks like this. So it's a little bit tricky to find. Just do like this, and then you have set next jump IPv6. So now I'm setting that address that's going to be used on the other side, where I'm actually going to push my traffic towards. So now let's go to and start fire up the BGP, and then we will move later on to the next one. I have a pair here, and if you were really noticing things before, that you saw that this here is the same address I'm now saying is my next jump. I also have an in filter down here. That's the filter that we are saying that this is going to be the next jump. Under advanced, that's the next tick here. You put in IPv6, because that's what we're going to do. It's not IPv4, so it's only going to be pure IPv6. You could actually, with the same session, do both IPv6 and 4, if your upstream provider allows you to do that, within the same BGP pairing. No extra settings. I have an update source. That's my tunnel. And that's it on that one. Now it's down, so I'm just going to do enable on it. And hopefully within a minute or two, it's going to show up as, instead of just idle, it's going to say connected. It first goes to connect, and then it's going to go connected, and then you see it's going to start counting up routes. And it's going to go up to about 37,000 routes is going to come in this way. So we just leave that one for the moment. I'm just going to keep it in the background. So we go to the next one. Well, actually, I forgot one thing on the first one. I didn't do the OSPF part on it. So we also need to do the OSPF version 3. OSPF normally is the one that you just go into the normal OSPF, you put your networks in, and everything is done. How many of you have done that part? There's a lot of hands up. Okay, good. So in this case, it's a little bit more tricky when it goes to OSPF version 6 because nothing is done automatically. Nothing. Zip, none. So what you do is, first of all, you need to go into your area. That one you don't really need to do much, but you need to do your instance. Same thing here. You remember the router ID. That's the same thing there. They need to be unique within the system. This is my master one here. So that one is going to give me default route for the rest of the network. So I'm saying always here as type 1. And here I actually need to use redistribute connected routes, because there is no network setting here. It doesn't exist in version 3. I also need to add my interfaces manually again. And in this case, my downstream router is going to be on 23. 24 is my outgoing interface. I'm also going to put in 254 as priority on this interface, because I want this one to be the master for the connection in between my two routers. The downstream one doesn't have the knowledge about what's going above. So that's always try to have the master one as close to an incoming line as possible. You could also put it into 255, then it's not even going to start negotiation of if it's the boss or not. In this case, it's, as you say, it says waiting. So we go to the next one. Same thing here. We are just going to do our OSPF version 3. As in this case, I'm not sitting on that route. I'm just going to put an IP series, so we're going to see that the IP is going to move in between the routers. The instance is the same thing here. We need to put in a number here. 10, 100, 200, 253 is the one I'm using here. Redistribute connected as type 1. This one is not going to have default gateway because the upstream one is having that. So it's just going to feed it further down by itself. I'm going into my interfaces. I have the incoming, in this case, on Ethernet 1. And here I'm putting 0 as priority, because this one I don't even want him to start thinking if he's the boss or not. So you see here now it says designate the router other directly without even asking. We do the same thing for Ethernet 3. That's the one feeding my next one. But I'm putting in 254. Same thing here. I want for the next jump further down the line, I want the one on the closest to my gateway to be the boss. That's on each link you have. You should start thinking about like that. And of course, we're going to need to put in an IPv6 address on it. Otherwise, it doesn't have anything to redistribute to me. So it's 2A05, Bravo 881 colon 0 colon 101. The other one had 100. Colon 1 slash 64. It's going to be on Ethernet 2. So now I have an address on that one. If we now go to IP routes on IPv6, if we're lucky, we have a default gateway. And that was the thing I did on the first one. Next jump, we're going to have even one more coming, because then I'm going to have the IP for the next one coming in. Now we are on the last one, router. Same thing here. We want this one to have a local IP series. It needs to be advertised for my laptop. Before that, I'm not going to have any connectivity to IP version 6. So we go in IP version 6. We put in the address into it. 2A05 colon Bravo 881 colon 0 colon 102. Last one was 101 colon 1 slash 64. Same thing here. I'm doing an advertise on it. I'm putting it into the bridge because I have a bridge here on the local side on it. And do OK. I was already there because I forgot to actually remove it this morning, I see. And we need to have the routing OSPF version 3 coming in. Same thing here. We have an instance. We're redistributing connected route as type 1. We'll go to interfaces and add my incoming interface. In this case, it's Ethernet 1, priority 0 again. Because same thing here, I don't want to have a discussion on who's the boss. Actually, it's me. I'm the programmer, so I'm the boss today. If you look in the bottom now, it says designate the router other again. So we go to IP version 6 routes, and they are there. Exactly as the plan was. Now is the question, have our BGP in the background start firing up? No. So let's see why. Seems like the tunnel is not working as it should. That one is working. So let's check our we have the right settings there, yeah. Okay, so we have a problem either with the tunnel itself. So we start doing the ping for 10.19. Okay, the tunnel is not working, or actually SSTP tunnel is not working, it seems like. I see the problem. If you're typing wrong, it's going to be wrong. That one is working. So that part is working. So then we have our interface to tunnel there. Is correct. it is a problem with the IP version of the tunnel for some reason. So we do like this, just to be sure. Why is it always like this when you're going to show something that's going to work? Could you explain that for me? Murphy, yeah. Ten 19 10 1. Even if the link, now that one is up, okay. Took a while. The tunnel is having its IP. Hey, I see the problem. Why is it always a 0? So let's go and see here what's happening. It says connect. Okay, now things are starting to happen here. We got our first prefix coming down. So if we go to IP routes here now. Ah, we got the /29 coming down from upstairs. Give it a couple of seconds. I just need to wait. It takes roughly 1 minute before to start pouring in routes. The first one is actually local on that router that sits on the other side, so that is like this. The other ones is actually need to start discussing first, are these idiots allowed to do this or not? And you see, now things happening. We are up to 4,000 routes coming in and counting, 6,000, 7,000. Actually, I need to wait for this to go fully online before I could do anything on surfing here, because my DNS is an IP version 6.1. And I don't have a route to it for the moment. So we need to wait until it says 37,000 there. Almost finished. Oh, it got the public address. That was the reason what we were doing here. So you see now, I'm all the way, actually, through a tunnel, up to Sweden. From Sweden with BGP session with 2 internet carrier. It's Telecom Denmark, TDC, and Tele2 in Sweden. Full dual stack all the way through. That was the thing we're going to show here, and it's done. Any questions? Anyone having any questions?
Why did we need to set the next code?
Actually, it doesn't work routing through the local link on the BGP session. So you need to put that, but some operators are giving you the local link anyhow. So then you do a filter. So actually what you need to do is start up your BGP, and if it says unreachable and everything and it becomes blue, okay, I need to filter. That's how quickly you find it. It's a no-brainer, more or less. Anything else? I'm going around with the Swedish flag, and tomorrow I'm not going to be as strict as I am today. I'm going to have my black trainer t-shirt instead. But I'm still going to have my blue and yellow flag with me, so it's very easy to find me. And today, okay, the guy with the silver tie and a suit, okay? That's all for me.
And something for you?
Ah, thank you.